I'd love to know from the panel, how could and should news be different and better?
If the journalists who are still here spent more time looking through the lens of their audience members and really more active on the ground listening at events like this, listening, talking, coffee shops. We've really lost a lot of that because of the way the industry has evolved. And so I think that news could be better if we were better listeners.
I agree with what Stephanie said. From a purely editorial perspective, I think this idea of solutions reporting and solutions-focused journalism, that you're not just reporting on what's wrong, oh, our school system is terrible, but actively reporting on things that can actually fix it and provide proactive answers. Look at how Chicago improved its schools and say, can this work here? And lessons learned from that. I think journalism can be a really powerful force for change in our communities.
People will always say to me, well, I read it on Facebook, and I'm like, well, Facebook isn't a news organization, and therefore what does that mean? The audience also has a role, and to understand that a lot of the time, what you see over and over and over again is, the result of an algorithm that, because that is like the most popular story, rises to the top of whatever feed you may be getting your news from.
We see a problem today. The problem has been here for 50 years. Okay, so what are the conditions that, in my case, my focus is trauma. What's causing the trauma? Okay, is it poverty? Is it homelessness? Is it food insecurity? What's a solution to these so that down the road, 5 years from now, it's not an issue where a person is traumatized because they're homeless or hungry or anything like that?
If we're headed in this direction of news, not news, that the consumer is coming up against and they can't tell the difference, what is a way that real news can differentiate themselves, can identify themselves better?
So many different experiments to get at that exact question, because it's a really important, critical question. There are things like the Trust Project, which is an initiative that's been analyzing and researching how audiences trust information, what signals we can give you to show you that something is trustworthy, and that ranges everywhere from disclosure information on articles all the way to flags on stories, or like little colors of things to indicate that something's been vetted or trusted.
I think news organizations can do a better job to make that easier and make it easier to understand also. Now you're scrolling through Facebook and go in the side door to some news site. You have no idea who that site is maybe, or even if it's a news article or an opinion article or what that is. And so I think publications need to think a lot more and sort of break out of the traditional mold.
And public vigilance. All of us, we all need to be vigilant about questioning where we're getting the news from. Do a little research on the site, go check it out.